Commander Vexitar stretched his forearms as he looked at the display screen aboard his patrol ship. The Zephyrian Empire had ruled this part of space for 300 years. His job was simple: keep unknown ships away from Empire territory. Most days were boring. Today looked like another boring day. "Commander, we have a contact," said his sensor officer Thys. "Unknown vessel approaching Sector 7. Vexitar sighed. Another primitive species trying to reach the stars. They showed up every few months. Usually one warning shot sent them running back to their home world. "Show me," he ordered. The screen displayed a ship unlike anything Vexitar had seen before. It was long and sleek, with smooth metal surfaces that seemed to absorb light. Most primitive ships looked like flying junk. This one looked dangerous. "What do you think it is?" asked Thys. "Probably stolen Empire technology," Vexitar replied. "Some rebel group trying to cause trouble." Meanwhile, aboard the human ship UNS Liberty, Captain Jake Morrison watched the alien vessel on his own screens. He had trained for this moment his entire career. "First contact with an alien species. Lisa, how are our engines?" he asked his chief engineer. Lisa Martinez looked up from her control panel. "Fusion plasma hybrid system is running perfectly, Captain. We have more power than we know what to do with." "Good. Ryan, any luck with communications?" Communications Officer Ryan Adams shook his head. "I'm picking up their radio signals, but I need more time to decode their language." Captain Morrison nodded. The human ship had been watching alien communications for 20 years. They knew several alien languages already, but this species used a dialect they had not heard before. "Amy, what do you think of their ship?" Morrison asked his tactical officer. Lieutenant Commander Amy Johnson studied her screens carefully. "Their weapons are basic energy cannons. Their shields look old. I think we could handle 10 ships like that without breaking a sweat." Navigator Sam Rodriguez plotted several escape routes on his computer. "Captain, if things go bad, I have jump coordinates ready for 6 different star systems." Dr. Helen Brooks, the science officer, was recording everything. "This is incredible, Captain. We're making history right now." Back on the Zephyrian ship, Vexitar was getting impatient. "Send them the standard warning. Tell them to leave our territory immediately." Thys transmitted the message. It was always the same: leave now or be destroyed. Ryan Adams heard the message and quickly worked to translate it. "Captain, they're telling us to leave. They claim this space belongs to something called the Zephyrian Empire." "Tell them we come in peace," Morrison ordered. "We want to talk." When the human response came back in perfect Zephyrian language, Vexitar was shocked. "How did these aliens learn their language?" "They say they want to talk," Thys reported. "Commander, how do they know our language?" "I don't know," Vexitar replied. He was starting to feel nervous. "Fire a warning shot across their bow. That usually scares them away." The Zephyrian ship fired a low-powered energy beam. It was meant to be a warning, not to cause damage. The beam hit the Liberty's shields and disappeared completely. "Direct hit, Commander," Thys said. "But their shields absorbed it completely. No damage at all." Vexitar stared at his screens. That was impossible. His warning shots could damage most Empire ships. How did this unknown vessel absorb it so easily? On the Liberty, Chief Medical Officer Paul Garcia checked on the crew. "Anyone hurt from that shot?" Security Chief Maria Santos laughed. "What shot?" "I didn't even feel it." Captain Morrison smiled. Human shield technology was 50 years ahead of anything the Empire used. They had been preparing for this day for a long time. "Ryan, send them another message. Tell them we are humans from the planet Earth. We want to establish peaceful relations with the Zephyrian Empire." The message reached Vexitar's ship. He read it twice, then 3 times. Humans? He had never heard of this species. Earth was not in any Empire database. "Thys, have you ever heard of humans?" "No, Commander. But if they're not in our records, they must be from outside Empire space." "That's impossible," Vexitar said. "Nothing exists outside Empire space. We control everything." Lisa Martinez monitored the alien ship's energy readings. "Captain, their power systems are really old. I think our coffee machine uses more energy than their weapons." Navigation Officer Carlos Mitchell plotted the alien ship's course. They came from the direction of the Empire capital. This might be a border patrol. Dr. Brooks was excited by every new piece of information. "Captain, we're learning so much about their technology. They're at least 50 years behind us in most areas." Amy Johnson kept her weapons ready but not aimed at the alien ship. "Captain, should I target their engines?" "We could disable them easily." No, Morrison said firmly. We're here to make friends, not enemies. Vextar was running out of options. His warning shot had failed. These humans claimed to come in peace, but their ship was clearly more advanced than his own. He needed to report this to his superiors. Send an emergency message to Fleet Command. Tell them we have encountered an unknown species with advanced technology. Request immediate backup. Yes, Commander. The message traveled through space toward the Empire capital. Within hours, it would reach Admiral Korath's desk and change everything. Ryan Adams intercepted the message and translated it quickly. Captain, they're calling for backup. They're scared of us. Morrison considered his options. They could leave now and avoid a fight. But humanity needed to establish its place in the galaxy. Running away would make them look weak. Sam, plot a course to the edge of their territory. We'll wait there for their reinforcements. Are you sure, Captain? Amy asked. They might come back with a lot more ships. Let them, Morrison replied. It's time the galaxy learned that humans are not to be underestimated. Vextar watched the human ship move away slowly. It was not fleeing. It was taking a position just outside Empire territory, like it was waiting for something. Commander, what do we do now? Theiss asked. We wait for orders, Vextar said. But deep inside, he knew everything had changed. The Empire's 300 years of dominance might be ending. The Liberty waited at the border, its crew ready for whatever came next. Captain Morrison looked at the stars and knew that humanity had just announced its arrival to the galaxy. Admiral Korath read Vextar's report for the third time. His office on the capital world of Zephyr Prime had seen many crisis reports over the years. This one was different. This one made no sense. Agent Theiss, what do we know about these humans? He asked his intelligence officer. Agent Theiss pulled up files on her computer. Nothing, Admiral. They are not in any of our databases. No previous contact. No known settlements in any mapped sectors. That's impossible, Korath said. We have mapped every civilized system within 500 light years. Yes, Admiral. But this human ship used technology we have never seen before. Our patrol ship's warning shot had zero effect on their shields. Korath stood up and walked to his window. Below him, the capital city of the Zephyrian Empire stretched to the horizon. Millions of beings from dozens of conquered species lived under Empire rule. The Empire was strong because they controlled the most advanced technology in the galaxy. How advanced could they be? He asked. One ship cannot threaten the entire Empire. Meanwhile, aboard the UNS Liberty, Dr. Helen Brooks worked with Captain Morrison to decode more Zephyrian transmissions. The Empire used quantum communication networks that they thought were secure. They were wrong. Captain, I'm reading their military communications, Dr. Brooks said. They're classifying us as threat level 7. Morrison raised his eyebrows. What does that mean? Ryan Adams looked up from his translation computer. According to their military codes, threat level 7 is for major galactic powers. They usually reserve that for species that control 50 or more star systems. Interesting, Morrison said. They're taking us seriously. Chief Medical Officer Paul Garcia was treating crew members who were stressed by their first alien encounter. Captain, some of the crew are nervous about what comes next. I understand, Morrison replied. But we trained for this. Humanity has been preparing for first contact for 50 years. Security Chief Maria Santos was drilling her teams on boarding procedures. If they try to board our ship, we'll be ready. Our personal shields and weapons are far superior to theirs. Navigation Officer Carlos Mitchell was busy calculating jump coordinates. Captain, I have escape routes plotted for 20 different systems. If we need to run, we can be gone in 30 seconds. We're not running, Morrison said firmly. It's time the galaxy knew humans exist. Back on Zephyr Prime, Admiral Korath received another report. This one was even more disturbing. Admiral, we have intercepted human communications, Agent Theiss reported. They have been monitoring our quantum networks for decades. What? Korath dropped his drink. That's impossible. Our quantum networks are unhackable. Apparently not, Admiral. The humans know our military codes, our ship movements, and our defensive positions. They have been studying us for a very long time. Korath felt a chill run down his spine. If the humans had been watching the Empire for decades without being detected, what else could they do? How many ships do they have? He asked. We don't know, Admiral. Our sensors can only track the one ship at our border. Send Fleet Commander Zendis with a full squadron. 12 heavy cruisers and 4 dreadnoughts. That should be enough to handle one primitive ship. On the Liberty, Chief Engineer Lisa Martinez was monitoring all Empire communications. "Captain, they're sending a big fleet after us. 16 ships total." Amy Johnson smiled at her tactical display. 16 ships with old weapons and weak shields. This should be interesting. Dr. Brooks was excited by all the new data. "Captain, we're learning so much about their society. They have conquered dozens of species over the past 300 years. They think they're the strongest power in the galaxy." "They're about to learn otherwise," Morrison said. Paul Garcia finished treating the last nervous crew member. "Captain, the crew is ready for whatever comes next." Sam Rodriguez checked his navigation systems. "Captain, I'm detecting other human ships moving toward our position." Morrison smiled. "Right on schedule. Signal the Falcon and Thunder Bay to take positions on our flanks." "Yes, Captain." Agent This was monitoring human communications when she noticed something that made her freeze. "Admiral, we have a problem. The humans are not using one ship. I'm detecting 3 separate vessels." Admiral Korath felt his stomach drop. 3 ships? "Yes, Admiral. And they're communicating with each other using technology we cannot decode." "How is that possible?" "I don't know, Admiral. But there's more. I think they're coordinating with other ships that we cannot detect." Admiral Korath realized the situation was much worse than he thought. 1 advanced ship was a problem. 3 advanced ships was a crisis. An unknown number of advanced ships was a disaster. "Contact Fleet Commander Zendis. Tell him to proceed with extreme caution." On the Liberty, Captain Morrison received a message from Captain Tony Phillips of the UNS Falcon. "Jake, we're in position. The Thunder Bay is ready too." "Good," Morrison replied. "Remember, we want to make friends, not start a war." "Understood. But if they want to fight, we'll give them one they won't forget." Captain Rachel Green of the Thunder Bay added, "My engineers are ready to deploy the spatial distortion devices if needed." Morrison nodded. Human technology included several surprises that the Empire would not expect. Dr. Brooks intercepted another Empire transmission. "Captain, their fleet will arrive in 6 hours." "Perfect," Morrison said. "That gives us time to prepare." Lisa Martinez ran final checks on all systems. "Captain, all 3 ships are operating at peak efficiency. We have enough power to fight for days if necessary." Amy Johnson coordinated with her counterparts on the other ships. "Captain, we have overlapping shield coverage and coordinated targeting systems. If they attack, we'll respond as one unit." Security Chief Santos reported that all boarding teams were ready. "Captain, if they try to board any of our ships, they'll be in for a big surprise." Admiral Korath paced in his office as reports continued to arrive. The humans were not behaving like any species the Empire had encountered before. Most new species either ran away or attacked immediately. These humans were waiting calmly at the border like they were inviting a fight. "Agent This, what do you think they want?" "I don't know, Admiral. But I think we're about to find out." Fleet Commander Zendis received his orders and gathered his squadron. 16 of the Empire's best ships were heading toward the border to deal with 3 unknown vessels. "This should be easy," he told his officers. 3 ships against 16. We'll destroy them quickly and send a message to any other species that might be watching." But deep in his heart, Zendis felt nervous. Something about this situation was different. Something about these humans was dangerous. The stage was set for a confrontation that would change the galaxy forever. Admiral Korath read Fleet Commander Zendis's report with growing alarm. The human ships had demonstrated weapons that could vaporize asteroids and defense systems that made targeting impossible. Worst of all, they seemed to have no intention of leaving Empire space. "Agent This, how many human ships are we really dealing with?" he asked his intelligence officer. "We're not sure, Admiral. Our deep space monitors are detecting energy signatures that match human technology in at least 12 different sectors." Korath felt his blood run cold. 12 sectors? How is that possible? "We think they've been positioning ships throughout Empire territory for months, maybe years. They've been planning this contact very carefully." Meanwhile, aboard the UNS Liberty, Dr. Aaron Mitchell was coordinating with his fellow science officers on the other human ships. Their quantum communication system allowed instant data sharing across the entire fleet. "Captain Morrison, we now have complete tactical analysis of the Empire fleet," Dr. Mitchell reported. "Their weapons cannot penetrate our shields. Their computers are vulnerable to our electronic warfare systems." "Good work, Aaron. But remember, we're here to make friends, not enemies." Chief Medical Officer Paul Garcia was monitoring the crew's stress levels. "Captain, the crew is handling first contact very well. Everyone knows how important this moment is for humanity. Security Officer Nina Davis was leading boarding teams equipped with the latest personal protection technology. Captain, if they try to board any of our ships, they'll discover our individual shields are stronger than their ship shields. Captain Tony Phillips contacted Morrison from the Falcon.
Jake, I'm reading movement from the Empire fleet.
They're trying to surround us. Let them try, Morrison replied. Amy, show them what our maneuvering systems can do. Lieutenant Commander Amy Johnson smiled as she activated the Liberty's space-time manipulation drive. The ship seemed to fold space around itself and reappeared behind the Empire formation in less than 3 seconds. Fleet Commander Zendis watched in horror as the human ship simply vanished from his sensors and reappeared in a completely different location. How did they do that? Sir, our instruments detected no hyperspace jump, no energy signature, nothing, his science officer reported. It's like they folded space itself. That's impossible. Space-time manipulation requires massive amounts of energy. Apparently not for them, sir. The other 2 human ships demonstrated the same capability, moving around the Empire fleet like they were dancing. Captain Rachel Green positioned the Thunder Bay above the formation, while Captain Phillips took the Falcon below it. Sir, we're completely surrounded, Zendis' tactical officer reported. By 3 ships? Yes, sir. But they can move faster than our targeting systems can track. Dr. Helen Brooks was recording every moment of the encounter. Captain, we're demonstrating technological superiority without appearing threatening. Perfect execution of our first contact protocols. Communications Officer Ryan Adams intercepted Empire communications. Captain, they're reporting our capabilities to their capital. The Empire leadership is in emergency session. Good. The sooner they understand we're not going away, the sooner we can start real negotiations. Navigation Officer Carlos Mitchell was monitoring space around the battle zone. Captain, I'm detecting more Empire ships approaching. Looks like they're sending reinforcements. How many? At least 30 ships, sir, including some really big ones. Captain Morrison considered the situation. The Empire was escalating instead of talking. Time to show them the full extent of human preparation. Ryan signaled the rest of our fleet. Tell them to decloak. Yes, sir. Throughout the sector, human ships began appearing on Empire sensors. The UNS Endeavour, UNS Defiant, UNS Intrepid, and 12 other vessels materialized as their stealth systems deactivated. Fleet Commander Zendis watched his sensor display fill with new contacts. How many ships do they have? 15. No, wait, 20. Sir, I count 23 human vessels in this sector alone. Zendis realized he was no longer dealing with a small exploration fleet. This was a full military deployment that had been hidden from Empire sensors for who knows how long. Sir, incoming message from the human flagship, his communications officer reported. Captain Morrison's voice came through clearly. Commander Zendis, I think it's time we had a serious conversation. Chief Engineer Lisa Martinez was monitoring all human ships. Captain, the entire fleet is operating at peak efficiency. We can maintain this deployment for months if necessary. Security Chief Maria Santos coordinated with security teams across the fleet. All ships report ready for any situation, Captain. The Empire has no idea what our boarding parties can do. Dr. Aaron Mitchell shared sensor data with the entire human fleet. Captain, the Empire reinforcements will arrive in 4 hours. They're bringing their newest ships. Let them come, Morrison replied. It's time they learned that humanity is here to stay. Agent Theis was frantically updating Admiral Korath on the developing situation. Admiral, the humans have at least 23 ships in the contact zone. We believe they have more ships throughout Empire space. How did they hide so many ships from our sensors? We don't know, Admiral. Their stealth technology is far beyond anything we've seen. Admiral Korath realized the Empire was facing its first real challenge in centuries. What do they want? They keep saying they want peaceful relations, Admiral, but they're demonstrating military superiority that makes our entire fleet look primitive. Send Admiral Zethek with the First Fleet. Mobilize everything we have. Admiral, are you sure? The First Fleet hasn't been deployed in over 50 years. These humans have made that necessary. Medical Officer Chris Thompson was treating crew members across the human fleet for excitement and stress. Captain Phillips, your crew is handling this beautifully. Everyone understands the historical significance. Engineering teams led by Commander Steve Wright were fine-tuning the spatial distortion systems. Captain Green, we can maintain tactical superiority indefinitely. Our power systems are operating at only 30% capacity. Communications specialist Jenny Adams continued broadcasting humanity's message throughout the sector. All species are welcome to establish peaceful relations with humanity. We seek cooperation, not conquest. The broadcast was being intercepted by monitoring stations belonging to dozens of different alien species. Word was spreading throughout the galaxy that a new power had emerged. Fleet Commander Zendis received new orders from the capital. "The Emperor himself has ordered me to attempt negotiations," he told his officers. "Apparently, destroying these humans is no longer considered possible. Sir, should we lower our shields as a gesture of goodwill?" "Absolutely not, but open a channel to their leader." Captain Morrison received Zendis's communication request. "This is Captain Morrison. Are you ready to discuss peaceful relations between our species?" "Captain, I have been authorized by Emperor Zalthek himself to begin preliminary negotiations. However, I must warn you that the Empire's first fleet is approaching this sector." "How many ships, Commander?" 250 of our most advanced warships, Captain." Morrison smiled. "Commander, I hope they come with peaceful intentions. It would be unfortunate if we had to demonstrate our full capabilities." Zendis felt a chill at those words. If the humans could handle his 16 ships so easily, what could they do against 250? "Captain Morrison, exactly how many ships does humanity have?" "Enough, Commander. More than enough." As the Empire's largest fleet in history approached the contact zone, both sides prepared for a confrontation that would determine the future balance of power in the galaxy. The Empire was about to learn that their 300 years of dominance were coming to an end. Fleet Commander Zendis arrived at the border with the most powerful squadron the Zephyrian Empire had sent into battle in 50 years. 12 heavy cruisers and 4 massive dreadnoughts dropped out of hyperspace in perfect formation. Each ship was over a kilometer long and carried enough firepower to destroy a small planet. "There they are," his sensor officer reported. 3 ships, just like the report said." Zendis looked at his display screen and felt confused. The human ships were tiny compared to his dreadnoughts. How could 3 small vessels be considered a threat to the Empire? "Scan their ships," he ordered. "I want to know everything about their weapons and defenses." Meanwhile, aboard the UNS Liberty, Captain Jake Morrison watched the Empire fleet arrive. His tactical officer, Amy Johnson, was already analyzing each enemy ship. "Captain, their biggest ships have heavy plasma cannons and standard deflector shields. Their technology is about 50 years behind ours." "How many crew members on each ship?" Morrison asked. "The dreadnoughts carry about 3,000 crew each. The cruisers have around 800. Morrison did the math quickly. The Empire fleet had brought almost 20,000 soldiers to fight against 3 human ships with crews of only 200 each. "They really want to make sure we're dead," said Captain Tony Phillips of the UNS Falcon contacted Morrison on the secure channel. "Jake, should we power up our weapons?" "Not yet. Let's see what they want to say first." Captain Rachel Green of the Thunder Bay was monitoring Empire communications. "Jake, they're trying to scan our ships, but their sensors can't penetrate our hull coating." Dr. Helen Brooks was recording everything for the history books. "Captain, we're witnessing the first major military confrontation between humans and an alien empire. This moment will be remembered forever." Fleet Commander Zendis was getting frustrated. His sensors could detect the human ships, but they could not read their internal systems. The hull material seemed to absorb sensor beams completely. "Sir, we cannot get detailed scans of their technology," his science officer reported. "How is that possible?" "I don't know, sir. It's like their ships are made of some unknown material." Zendis opened a communication channel to the human ships. "Unknown vessels, you are trespassing in Empire territory. Surrender immediately or be destroyed." Captain Morrison received the message and smiled. "Ryan, translate our response and send it on all frequencies." Communications Officer Ryan Adams worked quickly. "Message ready, Captain. This is Captain Jake Morrison of the United Nations Starship Liberty, representing the human species from the planet Earth. We are here for peaceful first contact with the Zephyrian Empire. We have no intention of surrendering to anyone." When Zendis heard the response, he could not believe it. 3 tiny ships were refusing to surrender to 16 of the Empire's best warships. "Sir, should we attack?" his weapons officer asked. "Not yet. I want to understand what we're dealing with first." Chief Engineer Lisa Martinez was monitoring the Empire ship's power systems. "Captain, their fusion reactors are really old. We produce 10 times more power with half the fuel consumption. Security Chief Maria Santos was preparing her teams for possible combat.
Captain, if they try to board us, we'll be ready.
Our personal shields can stop their weapons completely. Navigation Officer Carlos Mitchell was plotting tactical positions. Captain, if we need to move quickly, I can have us behind their formation in 15 seconds. How? Morrison asked. Space-time compression drive, Captain. We can bend space around our ship. Dr. Brooks looked excited.
Captain, they have no idea what our technology can do.
We have tactical advantages they can't even imagine. Fleet Commander Zendis decided to demonstrate Empire power. Target the asteroid field near their position. Fire a full salvo from our main guns. 16 ships fired at once. Hundreds of energy beams lit up space as they struck the asteroids. The rocks exploded in brilliant flashes of light. It was an impressive display of firepower. There, Zendis said. Now they know what they're facing. Captain Morrison watched the light show and nodded to his weapons officer. Ben, show them what our single main gun can do. Target that large asteroid on the right. Chief Weapons Officer Ben Kelly aimed the Liberty's primary weapon. Target locked, Captain. Fire. A single beam of coherent energy struck the asteroid. Instead of exploding like the Empire's targets, the rock simply vanished. Completely gone. Not even dust remained. Holy stars, whispered Zendis' sensor officer. That asteroid was 3 kilometers wide. It just disappeared. Zendis stared at his screens in shock. The Empire had just fired hundreds of shots to destroy smaller asteroids. The humans had erased a mountain-sized rock with one shot. Sir, what kind of weapon can do that? His science officer asked. I don't know, Zendis replied quietly. Amy Johnson smiled at her display. Captain, I think we got their attention. Good. Ryan, send them another message. Tell them we want to establish diplomatic relations with the Empire. The message reached Zendis' ship, but he was having trouble thinking clearly. How could one small ship carry a weapon more powerful than his entire fleet? Sir, the humans are requesting diplomatic talks, his communications officer reported. Diplomatic talks? They just demonstrated they could destroy our entire fleet with one shot each. Captain Phillips contacted Morrison from the Falcon. Jake, should we show them our other capabilities? Let's give them one more surprise. Rachel, deploy the spatial distortion field. Captain Green smiled. With pleasure. The Thunder Bay began generating a field that bent space around all 3 human ships. To the Empire fleet, it looked like the human vessels were in 3 different places at once. Sir, our targeting computers can't lock onto them, Zendis' weapons officer reported. They appear to be everywhere and nowhere at the same time. Dr. Brooks was fascinated by the Empire's reaction. Captain, their communications are showing signs of panic. They've never seen technology like ours. Engineering teams led by Commander Steve Wright were fine-tuning the distortion field. Captain Green, we can maintain this field for hours if needed. Communications specialist Jenny Adams was broadcasting on all known frequencies. This is the human fleet announcing our peaceful arrival to the galactic community. We seek friendship and cooperation with all species. The broadcast reached not just the Empire fleet, but monitoring stations throughout the sector. Other alien species heard humanity's message and began paying attention. Fleet Commander Zendis realized he was facing something completely new. These humans had technology that made the Empire's best ships look like toys. They could destroy his entire fleet easily, but instead they were asking for talks. Sir, what are your orders? His first officer asked. Zendis considered his options. He could attack and probably lose his entire fleet. He could retreat and look weak. Or he could try to understand what these humans really wanted. Open a channel to their lead ship, he said finally. This is Fleet Commander Zendis of the Zephyrian Empire. You have demonstrated capabilities beyond our current understanding. What do you want from us? Captain Morrison smiled. We want to be friends, Commander. Humanity is ready to take its place in the galactic community. We hope the Empire will welcome us as equals, not enemies. Equals? Zendis repeated. The word felt strange. The Empire had not treated anyone as equals in 300 years. Yes, Commander. Equals. We believe all species should work together for the benefit of everyone. Zendis looked around his bridge at his confused officers. Everything they knew about galactic politics was changing. The Empire's position as the dominant power was being challenged by 3 small ships from a species they had never heard of. Captain Morrison, I need to report this to my superiors. Will you wait while I contact the capital? Of course, Commander. We're not going anywhere. As Zendis prepared his report, he knew his message would shake the Empire to its core. The humans were not just another primitive species. They were a technological superpower that had appeared from nowhere, and they wanted to change everything. Emperor Zalthek had ruled the Zephyrian Empire for 40 years. In all that time, he had never faced a crisis like this. His emergency council chamber buzzed with nervous energy as reports arrived from throughout Empire territory. Your Majesty, we now confirm human ships in 37 sectors, Admiral Korath reported. They've been positioning themselves for months without our knowledge. How many ships total? We estimate at least 200 vessels, Your Majesty. Possibly more. Emperor Zalthek stood up from his throne. 200 advanced warships had appeared from nowhere, crewed by a species the Empire had never encountered. It was impossible, yet it was happening. What do they want? They claim they want peaceful relations, Your Majesty, but they're demonstrating military capabilities that exceed our own. Meanwhile, Admiral Zethek was approaching the contact zone with the Empire's first fleet. 250 ships, including the massive dreadnought Eternal Glory, represented the greatest display of Imperial power in 50 years. Admiral, we're detecting the human fleet, his sensor officer reported. 23 ships holding position at the border. Only 23 ships against my entire fleet? Zethek laughed. This will be over quickly, but as his ships dropped out of hyperspace, Admiral Zethek's confidence began to fade. The human vessels were small compared to his dreadnoughts, but something about them looked dangerous. They seemed to absorb light, making them hard to see clearly. Aboard the UNS Liberty, Captain Jake Morrison watched the massive Empire fleet arrive. His bridge crew remained calm despite facing overwhelming numbers. Captain, I count 253 enemy ships, Amy Johnson reported. Their flagship is over 3 kilometers long. Impressive, Morrison said. But size isn't everything. Lisa, how are our systems? Chief Engineer Lisa Martinez checked her displays. All ships reporting full power, Captain. We're ready for anything. Dr. Helen Brooks was documenting everything.
Captain, we're witnessing the largest military confrontation in galactic history.
Whatever happens here will determine humanity's future among the stars. Admiral Zethek opened communications with the human fleet. Unknown vessels, you are vastly outnumbered. Surrender now and your crews will be treated with respect. Captain Morrison smiled at the familiar demand. Admiral, this is Captain Jake Morrison representing humanity. We appreciate your offer, but we must decline. Captain, I have over 200 ships. You have 23. Simple mathematics should tell you this is hopeless. Admiral, mathematics is indeed important, but so is technology. Morrison gave a signal to his communications officer. Throughout the sector, more human ships began decloaking. The UNS Washington appeared, followed by the UNS Constitution, the UNS Enterprise, and dozens of others. Admiral Zethek watched his sensor display fill with new contacts. How many ships are there? Sir, I count 112 human vessels, his sensor officer replied with a shaking voice. But Morrison wasn't finished. Admiral, you're seeing our diplomatic fleet. Would you like to meet our military fleet? Before Zethek could respond, space around his formation filled with massive human battleships. The UNS Yamato materialized directly in front of his flagship, close enough to see details of its hull. The UNS Bismarck appeared above his formation, while the UNS Nagato took position below. Sir, they have us completely surrounded, Zethek's tactical officer reported. I count over 300 human ships. That's impossible. Where did they all come from? Captain Morrison's voice came through the communications channel. Admiral, humanity has been preparing for this day for over 50 years. We didn't come here to fight, but we came ready to defend ourselves. Emperor Zalthek was receiving real-time reports from the battle zone. 300 ships? How did we miss a fleet that size? Your Majesty, their stealth technology is beyond our understanding, Agent Thiss replied. They could have been watching us for decades. Get me a direct line to their leader. Now. Aboard the Liberty, Captain Morrison received a priority communication from the Zephyrian capital. Captain Morrison, this is Emperor Zalthek of the Zephyrian Empire. I believe we need to talk. Your Majesty, I agree completely. I'm sending my personal flagship to the contact zone. Will you guarantee safe passage? Of course, Your Majesty. Humanity has no desire to harm anyone. The Emperor's massive command ship, the Imperial Crown, began moving toward the border. It was escorted by Admiral Korath and a small fleet of ceremonial vessels. Chief Diplomat Laura Peterson arrived aboard the UNS Endeavour, humanity's most advanced diplomatic vessel. Her team included specialists in alien psychology, trade negotiations, and military treaties. "Captain Morrison, I'm ready to begin formal negotiations," she reported. "Good. The Emperor is coming personally." Dr. Kevin Murphy, the fleet's senior medical officer, prepared samples of human medical technology. "Captain, we have treatments for diseases that affect dozens of species. This could be our best diplomatic gift." Dr. Amanda Clark had brought examples of human energy technology. "Captain, our fusion reactors produce clean energy with no waste products. Many Empire worlds could benefit." When the Imperial Crown arrived at the contact zone, Emperor Zalthek got his first close look at human ships. They were beautiful in a way that Empire vessels were not. Where Zephyrian ships were built for intimidation, human ships seemed built for exploration and discovery. "Captain Morrison, may I come aboard your ship?" the Emperor asked. "You are welcome aboard the Liberty, Your Majesty." The meeting took place in the Liberty's main conference room. Emperor Zalthek was surprised by how young the human crew looked. Captain Morrison appeared to be barely 40 years old, yet he commanded technology that surpassed the Empire's greatest achievements. "Captain, I must ask directly, does humanity intend to conquer the Empire?" "No, Your Majesty. We want to join the galactic community as equals. We believe all species can benefit from cooperation." Laura Peterson presented humanity's formal proposal. "Your Majesty, we offer advanced medical technology, clean energy solutions, and food production methods that could improve life throughout the Empire. What do you want in return?" "Recognition as a sovereign species and equal trading rights with all galactic powers." Emperor Zalthek considered the offer. For 300 years, the Empire had grown by conquering weaker species. Now they faced a species that could conquer them, but chose not to. "Captain Morrison, your proposal is unprecedented. The Empire has never dealt with equals before." "Your Majesty, perhaps it's time to try something new." The negotiations continued for 3 days. Emperor Zalthek learned that humanity controlled over 50 star systems and had been secretly trading with other species for decades. They had built a hidden network of allies who were waiting for the right moment to challenge Empire dominance. "You planned all of this," the Emperor realized. "We prepared for every possibility, Your Majesty. We hoped for friendship, but we were ready for war." On the 4th day, Emperor Zalthek made his decision. "Captain Morrison, I hereby recognize humanity as a sovereign galactic power. The Empire welcomes you as equals." The news spread throughout the galaxy within hours. Species that had been conquered by the Empire suddenly had hope for independence. The galactic balance of power had shifted overnight. Captain Morrison stood on the Liberty's bridge and looked out at the stars. Humanity had announced its arrival not as conquerors, but as a force for positive change. The galaxy would never be the same. "Captain, we're receiving messages from dozens of species," Ryan Adams reported. "Everyone wants to establish relations with humanity." "Good," Morrison replied. "We came here to make friends. Looks like we succeeded." Admiral Zethek, watching the human fleet disperse to begin diplomatic missions throughout the galaxy, shook his head in amazement. In 4 days, they changed everything. "Sir, should we be concerned?" his first officer asked. "No," Zethek replied. "I think we should be grateful. The Empire needed to change, and these humans just showed us how." As human ships spread throughout the galaxy, carrying diplomats, doctors, and teachers instead of conquerors, the galaxy began a new age of cooperation and discovery. The Empire's 300 years of dominance were over, replaced by something better. Humanity had kept its promise. They came in peace, but they came prepared for anything. The galaxy was better for their arrival.